Hi, my name is Gagandeep Randhawa and my student ID number is AC8392. Today I am here for the video presentation on the issues of cash flow statement for the corporate accounting HI5020. With the changing in economic stability, it is very important for all the companies to track their proper cash flows and outflows and check the financial status of the company, and also to determine their income and expenses. So cash flow statement, income statement plays a very important role in determining all of these elements. First of all, cash flow statement is a statement that outlines all the cash inflows and outflows of the company, and it is categorized into three main activities, which are operating, investing, and financing activities. On the other hand, income statement is also plays a very important role in determining the company's overall financial status, because it also outlines the revenues and incomes of the company and calculates the net income with the difference of revenue and expenses. This report is based on three main companies, which is BHP Limited, Santos Limited, and Fantastic Limited, whose cash flow statements and income statements are used to prepare this presentation and the report. In part 1, I have described what is the importance of a cash flow statement and income statement for any investor. So it plays a very important role for the investing decisions. It helps the investor to determine the company's financial wealth and status, how the company is performing in its operations. So cash flow statement is a statement that summarizes all the cash and cash equivalents and identify the company's suitability in managing all the cash inflows and outflows. So this report presented how to use those cash inflows and outflows in a sustained way. So it also helps the investor to classify organization's solvency and how the organization manages all the outflows with the money that it receives or the cash which it receives in its ongoing operations. On the other hand, income statement is a financial statement that reflects all the income, expenses, and resulting profit during an accounting cycle, and it estimates the net income of the company with the difference of total expenses and income, and overall concludes that how well the company is generating its profit out of its returns, which plays a very important role in investors' decision making. It provides the overall view of the financial status of the company and how efficient it is in generating its profit. In part B, it's been discussed that main sources of the cash of the BHP, Santos Limited, and Fantastic Limited. So the main sources of both the two companies, which are like BHP and Santos Limited, are the customers in the market, proceedings from the dividend amount, and the debtors and the financial borrowings from the financial institutions. In addition, there are some other cash inflows like credit sales, or that helps the company's cash inflows and outflows. But in Fantastic Limited, because it is a manufacturing company, so it has a different distribution channels and online channels, which helps the company to sustain its operations through cash inflows and outflows. So the trends in all these three companies for cash flow. In BHP Limited, cash flow has been increased from the year 2017 to 2019, which has been $17.6 billion in 2019. And the Santos Limited, in 2017, its cash flow has been gone up, but when it comes down to 2018 and 19, it's been going down steadily, because it has because of some issues in the cash flow statements. But Fantastic Limited, the cash flows has been increased from year 2017 to 2018, but it has been gone up to $1,718,000 million in 2019. comparison of the cash flow from the business of so if we compare cash flow statement and income statement of BHP, it can be identified that cash flow from the operations of the company is relatively higher than the net income in all of the 3 years from 2017 to 2019. Although income is estimated on the basis of accrual basis of accounting, but when it comes down to cash flow statement, it is computed by the method of cash matching concept. And capital expenditure of all the 3 companies. So the BHP Limited, the cash flow has been cash flow for the capital expenditures has been decreased, which is a good sign for the cash flow statement. But in Santos Limited, it has been increased because it can be companies more motivation to use the excess cash in repayment of all the debts and keeping the capital for the future basis plan. So how does the company pays the dividends? So in last 3 years, BHP Limited is quite good in paying all the dividends, and it has increased the dividend payments as well. Dividend payments has been increased from 2017 to 2019, but Santos Limited has been little decreased in the 3 years. But when it comes down to Fantastic Limited, the cash flow for the dividend payments has been really decreased because company is really struggling to pay all the working capital and dividends. So usage of working capital by the BHP Limited. BHP Limited has used the working capital in different ways, but in the most conspicuous way, it has been used in business operations, like increasing its current liabilities and reduction in current asset, which is quite important, which has been increased the estimation of the overall cash flow activities. There are some other elements which has impacted the cash flow statements of these companies. For BHP Limited, net operating cash flows from discontinued operations, dividends, and proceeds from cash management has impacted its cash flow statement. But when it comes down to Santos Limited, proceedings from the dividend has been has been a very important element for impacting its cash flow statement. But in Fantastic Limited, because it has discontinued many of its operations and impairment of assets and issuing the share capital in 2018 and the employee transfer scheme are some of the main elements that were the main issues in cash flow statement. So, when it comes to net borrowing of BHP and Santos and Fantastic Limited, BHP's net borrowing was decreased because company was generating enough cash and profit to cover its expenses. But the repayment of borrowing has been increased in Santos Limited as well, from 220 million to 1474 million US dollars. But in Fantastic Limited, the debt has been increased steadily. Steadily. Financial strength for each of these companies. BHP Limited has a good strength in generating more cash flows into the business. Its profit from EBITDA, net operating cash flows from the continued operations, has played a very important role in determining its financial strengths, and its dividend has been increased in past 3 years, which has attracted more investors to invest into the company. The final dividend was increased with extra special of 25 cents per share, equivalent above the 50% minimum payout policy. But in Santos Limited, company is able to generate more cash inflows, but when it's come down to working capital expenditure, it has also paid some shareholders and sustained them back. But the Fantastic Limited was unable to generate enough cash to pay more shareholders and attract more stakeholders into the company. If we have to categorize the best company for the lending purposes, it will be BHP Limited, because the most important factor for any company to borrow money from an institution is the ability to generate profit, and BHP is doing well in generating profit and revenue for the company, paying its shareholders, and undertaking all their important business investing decision, and investing in long-term projects as well. So the company's net borrowings are higher, but it's good reflection of profit and excess cash from its ongoing operations. So the company is best. So BHP Limited can be suggested as the best company to lend any borrowings. Overall, it can be concluded that this report was based on cash flow statement and income statement, how it can be very useful to any investor or any company, depending on their income and on their revenue and cash operations. So it also helps to determine the company's financial wealth and its status in the ongoing market operations. So that's all for today. Thank you.